Shooting outside of a local mall. Let's get right to Anna Myler. She's live on the scene in Kingston with the very latest for us. Anna?
Kate, Kingston police just confirmed that they are investigating an officer-involved shooting. You can see the large crime scene here at the entrance of the Kingston Collection. A large portion of the mall parking lot is blocked off with crime tape. You can see multiple police cruisers and investigators here on scene from both the Kingston and the Plymouth police departments. At the center of the crime scene, there are items scattered all over the ground, including a backpack and a large knife, and we have seen officers in that area looking at those items with flashlights. I'm told that the police chief is here on scene as well. Again, we know this was an officer-involved shooting that happened here near the entrance to the Kingston Collection. Police say both the suspect and the officer were taken to the hospital. The officer was taken as a precaution. We do not know the suspect's condition at this time or what led up to this incident. We know that investigators are working on gathering details here. Again, taking a live look at this scene, you can see multiple police cruisers, multiple investigators, and that this parking lot is blocked off with crime tape. We are told that investigators are working on collecting more information, and we will bring you any updates as soon as we can. Reporting live in Kingston, Anna Myler, WBZ This Morning.
What's up, everybody? Arty 84 here, Wicked Explorers, for another Dead Mall or Not. This one takes us down to Kingston, Massachusetts, to the Kingston Collection, formerly known as the Independence Mall. A mall I've been to several times. Actually, I've been to this mall. The first time was back in 2002 when it was the Independence Mall. I went to a movie here. I had gone back a couple times in the last few years, and, you know, progressively, it's getting worse and worse. We start this off right here in the food court, or what was left of a food court. The movie theater is right behind us, and I was just here 2 years ago, and it was, most of the restaurants were there. Now there's nothing there. And as you've seen in the opening news report, things are getting a little shady down here at the collection. They've done some renovations. They're apparently trying to snazz it up a little bit. But let's give a little history of the mall. It was built in 1989. It has 84 stores and 2 anchors currently. There is a basement that is currently closed. There was a store that was down in the basement. It's at 837,000 square feet. The one-story enclosed upscale shopping center, they call it now after the renovation, is located in the South Shore region of Massachusetts in the United States. The mall features over 100 stores and restaurants. Anchor stores include Macy's and Target. There was a Sears here. We'll get into that in a little bit as we walk towards where the former Sears was. Kingston Collection opened 1989, originally named the Independence Mall. As I said, the original anchors of the mall were Filene's Basement, JCPenney, Sears, and Hoyt's Cinema. On December 5th, 2011, construction began on a brand new 58,000 square foot Regal Cinemas 14 theater complex to replace the original out-of-date Hoyt Cinema. The Hoyt Cinema, by the way, it was called the Independence Theater when I went, I believe, in 2002. And it was not the stadium seating type. It was an old school theater. Very rundown, very, not much to it. But it was one of your typical old school theaters that were built in the 80s. On November 20th, 2003, plans for a drastic renovation of the mall were announced. And that would include changing the entire exterior facade. The interior facelift include work, new paint, coatings, and renovating bathrooms. Plus soft seating areas with Wi-Fi, new stores and dining options, and a larger selection of stores overall. Other pieces of the project include the reopening of the basement, which had not been open to the public since 1998, which would also be extensively renovated. Redevelopment of the center court and formerly Best Buy, which closed in 2010, and the addition of an F100 indoor racetrack, K1. On November 11, 2014, the Kingston Collection was evacuated due to a Tier 2 hazmat situation. A witness in the food court said that they were getting coffee and the lights went out and the fire alarm went off. People also in the cinema were evacuated. People describing the smell like pepper spray. Ambulances, firefighters, and police arrived at the scene, with 2 people being brought to the hospital. On October 23, 2014, it was announced that Sears would close, part of a plan of closing 77 stores nationwide. The store closed in January 2015, and in early 2021, the former Sears was demolished and apartments will be built on that site. Which brings us to what we talked about earlier with the Sears. So, where the Sears was located, it was a giant portion of the building. They had actually knocked that down. From the inside of the mall, the facade is still there. They hadn't done much. You'll see it at the very end when we walk all the way down at the very end of this video. But the store itself is gone, and it's a pretty dramatic apartment complex situation being built in the parking lot in that area. Now, from the map we've seen in the beginning of the video, it included the Sears. So if you want to rewind and see where the movie theater is placed on the map, it's in total opposite end of the mall. That was removed, and giant apartments are built in the parking lots. So the fate of this mall. As I walked through, I realized that there is no stores anymore, basically. There is these giant, like, play complex, like trampoline parks, and there's a pins bowling alley and arcade. They're just giant rec areas for people to use, which I guess they need a home, so the mall would be a good place for them. But for you, as a traditional aspect of what you think a mall is, with several shops and whatnot, this is not it. This is basically just a big commercial building with a bunch of these playgrounds inserted in there. Essentially, you go to the mall, you go to one of these places. Several of them have outdoor access as well, so you don't even actually have to use the mall. When you walk through the halls of this mall, notice there's no one here. This is Friday night. This is Friday at 6 o'clock. This is when malls should be busy. You can tell that a lot of these stores haven't been used in a while because the facades are the same of the outdated versions of the stores. Typically, the Abercrombies and the Hollisters and stores of that nature, Structure, well, now it's Express, have usually renovated their facades. And this mall, they just left it from where the original ones were. I remember the first time I walked through this mall almost 20 years ago, the fate of it was pretty much the same as it is now. There was not much going on. Why this mall doesn't get as much activity as it does, I have no clue. I really don't, because there's really no other mall in relatively close by to this area. It's located in Kingston, which is near Plymouth, Mass, which is towards the Cape area of Massachusetts. The nearest super mall to this would be the South Shore Plaza, which we had talked about, a few episodes ago. And that's still about 30 miles away. So there's still a lot of time to be traveled. There's a lot of people that live in this area. Plymouth is a very, very large city. And to me, this would seem like the place where those people would go shop. And for some reason, they cannot keep people in this mall. Now, it is owned by the Pyramids Company, which, as we've done these malls in the past, it seems like there's a pattern with management in the pyramid companies. Not very successful, whether it's their rent's too high or their expectations for the mall are just unrealistic, that stores can't stay in there. But this mall geographically seems like it should be successful, and I would imagine that's why they built this mall where they did. It is literally halfway between the Dorchester part of Boston, or the Braintree Split area, and the Cape Cod bridge to go over into Cape Cod. And if I lived in this area, this would be my primary shopping area, because I don't want to drive up towards Boston, and I don't want to drive into the Cape. And it's kind of sad, because they had really dumped a lot of money into this, almost 10 years ago, to really try to bring some life into it. And I think what they were doing with this was pretty groundbreaking, because considering a lot of the malls now who are trying to survive, like the North Shore Mall, are trying to build these outdoor plazas, including the indoor plazas, kind of putting 2 and 2 together to make it kind of a multi-place. And this mall, I think, had the potential to do so. I think that's what they wanted to do. I think they wanted to kind of brighten it up and, you know, maybe extend to the outside of the mall and make it a little more usable. But, you know, there's a location when we walk in where a restaurant was, that's gone. The food court is gone. The movie theater on a Friday night is gone. Now, people were going to say, oh, the pandemic, COVID, people aren't going to the mall movies. Yes, that is true. And that possibly could be the dagger to this. But as I said, I was at this mall prior, a couple of years ago, 2018 to be exact. And the fate of the mall was exactly the same. In fact, I had videotaped the mall when I was there at that time, and I had lost the video. And I am fearing this mall will close soon. In fact, it has every indication walking through the halls that they could easily shut off portions of this mall and just have access to these trampoline parks and pins and Sky Zone type places and really just get rid of the rest of the mall. They really don't need to keep the lights on in these areas that I'm walking through because there's no one there. But I hope you guys enjoyed the mall. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the mall. Like I said, there is so much about this place that's very unique and very interesting. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be along very long. So if you have the opportunity to get to Kingston, Mass., get down there, come see the Kingston Collection before they take out the indoor section of the mall and keep these other occupancies independent from the structure itself. And then therefore we'll be without a mall again. And those will eventually go. And there'll be nothing here but apartments, because I think that's inevitably what their game plan is. They have the apartments, and they perhaps want to limit the amount of commercial activity at this mall. And with the way Macy's are going these days and stuff of that nature, and perhaps Macy goes and then the movie theater goes, and then they really have an excuse to tear down most of the mall. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming on this tour with me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe, leave comments below. Tell me what you think of this mall. If you've been to this mall, what do you think is going to happen to this mall? And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and click the little alarm so whenever you get notification, we get new ones. See you later. Bye.